The Galactic Council convened in a vast chamber, its walls shimmering with holographic displays of stars and galaxies. Representatives from various species, each a testament to evolution's grandeur, gathered to discuss an urgent matter: the rapid expansion of humanity across the galaxy. Arya Chen, a human diplomat with a sharp intellect and an unyielding spirit, stood at the forefront of the debate. She had long admired the Council, a beacon of wisdom and progress in a universe fraught with chaos. Yet today, she felt a mixture of hope and trepidation. As she surveyed the room, her gaze met the cold, calculating eyes of Thaler, a towering figure from the Vexari race, whose jagged features bore the scars of countless battles. He was one of the loudest proponents of restricting human advancement. "We must act decisively," Thaler declared, his voice booming. "Humanity's unchecked growth poses a significant threat to our way of life. Their technological progress could outpace even the most advanced civilizations in this room." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Arya clenched her fists, her heart racing. This was not merely a political discourse, it was a challenge to humanity's very existence. She knew that the Council's decision could seal the fate of her people. "May I remind you," she interjected, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "that humanity has faced extinction countless times and emerged stronger. We are not a threat, we are an ally. Our spirit of innovation can complement the Council's wisdom." As she spoke, Arya reflected on humanity's history, the wars, the near-apocalyptic events, the resilience that had woven them into a tapestry of survival. She drew upon these memories to fuel her conviction. The Council's leader, a serene figure known as Eldor, raised a hand, silencing the room. "Your passion is commendable, Arya, but we must consider the greater good. The Vexari are not the only ones concerned. Other races have expressed similar fears. Humanity's ambition could lead to catastrophic consequences." Arya took a deep breath, sensing the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "But the greatest danger lies not in ambition, but in the fear that fuels it. By stifling humanity's growth, you risk alienating a species that could become your greatest ally." Just then, a sudden shift in the atmosphere gripped the chamber. A small group of council members huddled together in the corner, their whispers barely audible. Arya's instincts tingled. She recognized the body language of conspirators. Something sinister was brewing. As the debate continued, she caught snippets of their hushed conversation. "Remove the threat. We cannot allow their potential. A decisive strike is necessary." A chill crept down her spine. The Council's fears were morphing into a dangerous resolve. They were not merely considering restrictions, they were plotting humanity's downfall. Realizing the urgency, Arya decided she had to act. She would not stand by while the Council decided her people's fate. As the discussions heated up and the tension in the chamber escalated, she resolved to expose the conspiracy lurking beneath the surface. After the session, she slipped out of the chamber, determination fueling her every step. The fate of humanity rested in her hands, and she would find a way to unite her people against this looming storm. Arya knew that in a galaxy full of uncertainty, hope and resilience would be their most powerful weapons. Back on Earth, chaos erupted in response to the news from the Galactic Council. Newsfeeds were flooded with reports of the impending restrictions, igniting a firestorm of fear and anger among the populace. Protests broke out in cities worldwide, with citizens demanding their right to explore and expand beyond their home planet. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a mix of defiance and desperation. Amidst this turmoil, Marcus Hale, a former military commander turned civilian leader, felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him. He had served humanity in numerous conflicts, and now he found himself facing a threat more insidious than any alien force. The Council's edicts were not just political maneuvers, they were an existential threat. Sitting in a war room that had once been a command center, Marcus convened a meeting of influential figures from various sectors, scientists, engineers, and seasoned veterans of past conflicts. As he stood before them, he could sense their apprehension, but also their determination. "We have faced worse odds before," Marcus began, his voice steady and commanding. "The Council believes they can dictate our future, but we cannot let fear guide us. We need to stand united, not just as a nation, but as a species. We are more than mere pawns in their games. We have the ingenuity and spirit to fight back." A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Dr. Lena Rousseau, a leading aerospace engineer, stood up, her eyes bright with conviction. "I have been working on a prototype propulsion system. With our latest breakthroughs in quantum drive technology, we can build a ship that surpasses anything currently in the Council's fleet. But we need resources, and we need a crew willing to risk everything." Encouraged by the rallying spirit in the room, Marcus outlined a plan. They would mobilize a resistance. He called upon all factions, military personnel, engineers, scientists, and even civilians, urging them to contribute their skills and knowledge. They would not only create a ship capable of taking the fight to the Council, but also establish a network to coordinate their efforts across Earth and its colonies. As the meeting progressed, the atmosphere shifted from fear to resolve. A new energy ignited within the group, and one by one, they pledged their support. Each individual knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but they also understood that history was not made by those who waited in the shadows. Days turned into weeks as they worked tirelessly, pooling their resources and expertise. The prototype starship, dubbed Vanguard, began to take shape in a hidden facility deep within a mountain range. Constructed using advanced materials and enhanced technology, it was unlike anything humanity had ever built. While the Vanguard was under construction, Marcus and his team focused on gathering intelligence about the Council's movements. They learned of an ancient artifact unearthed on Mars, rumored to possess energy capabilities far beyond current technology. This discovery could provide them with a significant advantage in their fight against the Council. With renewed purpose, Marcus and a small team prepared for a daring mission to Mars. As they boarded the experimental ship that would take them on their first operational flight, adrenaline coursed through their veins. Each member of the crew understood the risks but was motivated by the belief that they were fighting not just for themselves, but for the future of humanity. As they rocketed toward the Red Planet, Marcus looked around at his diverse crew, scientists, soldiers, engineers, all united by a common goal. They were no longer just individuals. They were a collective force embodying the unyielding resolve of humanity. Together, they would confront the storm brewing in the galaxy, proving that they were ready to defy the odds and fight for their destiny. The sleek silhouette of the Vanguard glided through the depths of space, its powerful engines humming with energy as it approached Mars. Marcus Hale stood at the helm, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through him. They were entering the heart of a dangerous mission, one that could either elevate humanity to new heights or lead to their undoing. The crew had spent the journey preparing for what lay ahead. Dr. Lena Rousseau meticulously reviewed the ship's systems, ensuring that every piece of advanced technology was operational. On the bridge, Intelligence Officer Zara Malik scanned data feeds, searching for any sign of Council patrols. They were aware that their presence on Mars would not go unnoticed. As the Vanguard touched down on the Martian surface, a crimson landscape stretched before them, desolate yet hauntingly beautiful. The remnants of ancient civilizations peeked through the dust, relics of a time long gone. The team disembarked, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The ancient artifact they sought was rumored to be buried deep within the Tharsis volcanic region, a treacherous area known for its rugged terrain and hidden dangers. Equipped with advanced excavation tools and protective gear, they moved swiftly across the rocky landscape, each step driven by the urgency of their mission. Marcus led the way, focused on the objective: while the crew worked in unison, their synergy reflecting the training and preparation they had undergone. Hours passed as they navigated the harsh environment, but just as fatigue began to set in, Zora's voice broke through the exhaustion. "I'm picking up unusual energy readings from a cave entrance up ahead," she announced, pointing to a dark fissure in the rock. The team exchanged excited glances, adrenaline surging through their veins. They quickly made their way to the cave, where the air felt charged with anticipation. Inside, glowing hieroglyphs illuminated the walls, telling stories of an ancient civilization that had once thrived on Mars. As they delved deeper, they found the artifact, an intricately designed crystal pulsating with a soft, blue light. Lena examined it closely, her eyes wide with wonder. "This could change everything. We need to harness its energy and integrate it with the Vanguard systems. If we can do that, we'll have a power source beyond anything the Council can imagine." Just as they began to strategize, alarms blared through the cave. Zora's voice trembled as she reported, "Council ships are entering Martian orbit. They must have tracked our arrival." Panic surged through the group, but Marcus quickly regained his composure. "We need to secure the artifact and get back to the Vanguard. Stay focused and move quickly." With urgency driving them, the team gathered the crystal and retraced their steps, navigating the rocky passages with precision. Outside, the sky was now filled with the silhouettes of Council ships descending toward Mars, their sleek forms reflecting the red glow of the planet's surface. As they sprinted back to the Vanguard, laser blasts began to tear through the air, striking the ground around them. The Council had arrived in full force, and their intent was clear. They would not let humanity escape with the knowledge that could alter the balance of power in the galaxy. Marcus barked orders as they boarded the ship, the crew scrambling to get systems online. "Lena, integrate the artifact now. Zara, prepare for evasive maneuvers." With a fierce determination, Lena connected the artifact to the Vanguard's core. The ship hummed with newfound energy, its systems pulsating with life. The crew was ready for takeoff as the Council ships closed in, their weapons primed. As the Vanguard lifted off, Marcus felt a rush of exhilaration. They were defying the odds, but this was only the beginning. The shadow of war loomed ahead, and humanity's fight for survival was just unfolding. With the artifact in their possession, they now had a fighting chance, and they were ready to face whatever the Council had in store for them. The battle for their future had begun. As the Vanguard soared through the Martian atmosphere, the crew members exchanged glances, each of them aware that they had just crossed a significant threshold in their struggle against the Galactic Council. The thrill of their narrow escape blended with the weight of their next steps. With the ancient artifact integrated into the ship's core, they now had an unprecedented advantage, but they also knew that the Council would be relentless in their pursuit. Back on the Vanguard, Marcus Hale stood at the helm, strategizing their next move. "We need to gather allies. The Council's might is vast, and we cannot face them alone. We have to find those within the Council who share our vision." Zara Malik, the intelligence officer, pulled up a list of potential allies within the Council. There are factions among the Council members who are disillusioned with the current leadership. Many believe that their oppressive policies will lead to chaos, and some have even expressed a willingness to support us, but they are afraid to act openly. Lena Rousseau, still buzzing with excitement over their discovery, interjected, "If we can reach out to these individuals, we might be able to forge alliances that could turn the tide in our favor. But we need to do this carefully. Trust is in short supply among the Council, and one wrong move could lead to disaster." With a plan in place, the crew set their course for a neutral planet known as Kepler-9, a bustling trade hub where various species mingled freely. It was here that they hoped to make contact with representatives from the factions who might be sympathetic to their cause. As the Vanguard landed amidst the thrumming activity of Kepler-9, the team suited up, ready to venture into the vibrant marketplace. The air was thick with the scents of exotic foods, and colorful vendors hawked their wares, creating a kaleidoscope of sights and sounds. Yet beneath the surface of this bustling environment, danger lurked. The council had eyes everywhere. The crew split into smaller groups to maximize their chances of gathering information. Marcus and Zara headed toward a bar known for its clandestine dealings, hoping to find a contact who could introduce them to dissenters within the council. Inside the dimly lit establishment, a mix of laughter and hushed whispers filled the air. The atmosphere shifted as Marcus approached a cloaked figure sitting alone in the corner. The figure was Exceltharian, an alien known for their deep knowledge of interstellar politics. "I've been expecting you," the Exceltharian said, their voice low and gravelly. "You have stirred quite the commotion among the council. There are many who are wary of your growing influence." "Are there those who would support us?" Marcus asked, leaning in closer. "We need allies if we're going to stand against the council's oppression." The Exceltharian nodded, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. "There are whispers among the younger council members, especially those from the Vithran race. They see the council's authoritarianism as a threat to the stability of the galaxy. If you can secure a meeting with their leader, you may find the support you seek." Meanwhile, Lena and the engineering team sought out a local tech expert rumored to have ties to council insiders. After a few tense conversations, they managed to gain the tech expert's trust, convincing him of their intentions to liberate rather than destroy. He provided Lena with encrypted communications technology that would allow them to reach out to potential allies discreetly. Back together, the crew regrouped to share their findings. With a renewed sense of purpose, they established a plan to approach the Vithran leader, hoping to solidify their alliances. As the sun set over Kepler 9, casting long shadows across the bustling marketplace, Marcus felt the weight of responsibility pressing upon him. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but for the first time, there was a glimmer of hope. Allies were within reach, and with their help, humanity might just be able to challenge the Galactic Council and change the course of their destiny. The Vanguard thrummed with energy as it orbited the peaceful planet of Vithra, the homeworld of the Vithran race. Marcus Hale stood on the bridge, surrounded by his crew and the newly formed alliance of Vithran leaders who had agreed to meet. The stakes were high. Failure could mean the end of their fight for freedom. As the Vithran leaders entered the ship, Marcus felt a mix of hope and trepidation. They were an imposing sight, tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver. Their leader, a dignified figure named Commander Althor, stepped forward, his eyes piercing through Marcus. "You have made bold moves, human. Many in the council see your actions as reckless, but we have heard your message." "Thank you for meeting with us, Commander," Marcus replied, extending a hand. "We believe that together, we can stand against the Council's tyranny. Humanity's fight is not just our own. It is a struggle for all species oppressed by their iron grip." The tension in the air was palpable as Arthur regarded Marcus. "Your spirit is commendable. However, actions speak louder than words. We must show the Council that we are united. If we are to defy them, we will need a plan." With the Vanguard as their flagship, they formulated a strategy to strike a decisive blow against the Council. They planned to launch a surprise attack on the Council's central base of operations, a heavily fortified station located in the orbit of a nearby gas giant. This would send a clear message: humanity and its allies would no longer stand idly by while their freedoms were stripped away. The days leading up to the mission were filled with tension and preparation. Crew members from both the Vanguard and the Vithran forces worked side by side, forming a bond built on shared purpose and mutual respect. Each day, they honed their tactics, ensuring that every member was prepared for the challenges ahead. As the moment of departure arrived, the atmosphere in the Vanguard was electric. Marcus stood at the helm, flanked by his crew and the Vithran commanders. He addressed them with fervor. "Today, we fight not just for our species, but for the future of the galaxy. We will show the Council that we are not to be underestimated. We will stand firm against oppression." Cheers erupted throughout the ship as the crew prepared for battle. With the Vanguard leading the charge, they initiated a stealth approach toward the Council's stronghold. The silence of space wrapped around them, heightening the tension. As they drew closer, Marcus could see the imposing structure of the Council's base, illuminated by the glow of its defensive systems. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the Vanguard. "They've detected us," Zura shouted, fingers flying over her controls. Initiating evasive maneuvers. Marcus gripped the armrests of his chair as the ship shook under the barrage of enemy fire. "Return fire. We need to make our way through their defenses." The crew rallied, working with a synchronicity born from the countless drills they had practiced together. As they weaved through the onslaught, Lena activated the artifact's power, infusing the ship with enhanced speed and shielding. "We're gaining momentum," she yelled, her excitement evident. "We can breach their defenses." With a final push, the Vanguard broke through the outer layer of defenses. As they entered the heart of the station, they were met with fierce resistance from the Council's forces. A fierce battle erupted, lasers and explosions lighting up the darkened halls. Humanity and their allies fought with an unyielding resolve. The Vanguard crew, fueled by determination, pressed forward, pushing back the Council's forces inch by inch. The tides were turning. They had breached the inner sanctum where the Council's leaders were holed up, their arrogance shattered by the ferocity of the united front. In a dramatic confrontation, Marcus and Althor stood before the Council leaders, who looked upon them with shock and fear. "This is the end of your reign," Marcus declared, his voice unwavering. "You have oppressed us for too long, but no more. We will forge a new path, one of unity and freedom." As the Council crumbled under the weight of their own hubris, the galaxy watched. The defiance of humanity had sparked a movement, and together with their newfound allies, they had begun to reshape their destiny. The battle was won, but the war for peace and cooperation in the galaxy had just begun. United, they would not only survive but thrive, proving that even the smallest voices could stand tall against tyranny.